there's a couple of things that I really want to touch on, FYI type shit, right? So let's go back to the city council building. When I testified to New York City Council building, understand that that was not planned. God was using me, okay? And I'm telling you that because I was on my last 6 months of parole. I already had survived 4.5 years of my 5 years of parole after an 11-year unjust bid. Not just from the sentence and the conviction being unjust, but from everything that I've saw happen to myself and other women inside of the penitentiary at the hands of correctional officers. It was unjust. A lot of these women's stories is unjust, you know. And so this is why I do what I do, but I want to stay on track. Let me stay on track with the city council building, right? Because I need y'all to really understand. A lot of people, salute to y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all love the testimony, but just understand God was using me at that time. At the time, I was working on the criminal justice fund at Borealis Philanthropy. We had $2.2 million grant where I was responsible for giving out grant money. I didn't have the final say so. I didn't have all the say so. I was just one of two people. It was two people on my fund. Myself and my director had helped to build a fund. I helped to build that fund because I had the experience of being formerly incarcerated, and I knew a couple of things, but I knew the least amount of things about bail reform. Okay, and I went hard researching the information and diligently every day doing what I had to do for the community, right? Because it's for the job. I had a job. It's a regular job, but in reality, it was big time work that was being done, not just in New York, across the country. Okay, so during that time, I just wanted to be a worker, so to speak, right? So all I want to do is just be a worker, a good worker too, because I'm doing good work for my community. So when I hear about the no new jails, I'm like, they saying what? I was following everything that they were saying, and I agreed with what they were saying. They want Rikers Island to close, but they don't believe that you need 5 new jails to be able to do it. And if you go on the Instagram page of No New Jails, New York City, you can see for yourself everything that they were working hard for the people. Okay, and understand, as hard as they were working for the people, as far as the jails being connected to slavery and the fact that $11 billion worth of taxpayers' money could be spent on things like jobs, job training, housing, and all the other things that are the barriers to success and the reason why people go to prison and jail in the first place. Right? Because all we're doing is continuing a legacy of slavery, and they told the story better than I ever could. Okay, I was sitting there in trauma, working in these spaces, like many people. Don't look at me and act like I'm something different. Many people. I've been in so many big spaces with the most prolific, most professional, most experienced and celebratory professionals in the criminal justice field. Right? They're celebrities because of what they do. They go speak out often, and they get good, positive results often. And as I listened to them, as I went through this transition, every single part of it empowered me. And so I brought the power and leadership movement to my community to empower you. I didn't forget about nobody. I rose all the way to the top. Next to the government, philanthropy is the highest place. And if I would imagine, I think philanthropy is higher than the government, because the government has to follow certain rules that philanthropy does not. And they get to spend their money in ways that the government cannot. Not without our say-so, not without our permission. Philanthropy is based on slavery money, right? The people who were enslaved in America worked for free labor. They didn't get a dime for their labor, and all that money and wealth went into philanthropy. That's another story. Check out all my other videos. I want y'all to know this. I came home to be a square. I didn't come home to be a revolutionary. I came home on 5 years of parole classified as a violent felon, which means I had to do every day of my 5 years, no matter how good of a time I did, while I watched people who murdered people be having 25 to life and could get off early for 3 years. Manslaughter is not a violent crime. You don't know that. But burglary with a weapon that you was not found in the house to be is. Just having a weapon is. And it is what it is, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. I served my time. I appealed my appeals. I fought the system above and beyond. They cannot fucking stand me. And when I came home, I did not come home to continue on the trajectory that I've done in the penitentiary, okay? I came home to do what I needed to do to survive parole. And they already told me, don't go out there protesting, because police contact as a violent felon could land me back in the prison system for 1 year automatically. No crime attached, just police contact. I wanted nothing to do with a protest. But you have to understand, at some point, you're going to be watching the TV, you're going to be watching the media, as the revolution will not be televised. Everything else will. The death of black bodies, they will always televise that. They want you to see the shit beaten out of a black man. They want you to feel that fear. They want you to know that you fucking hated. They want you to hate yourself. And when there was one black woman named Brittany that stood in front of the detention complex downtown Brooklyn, she was just a regular person when she was talking to me. I had got the same email they got. Okay? It said to rally in front of the detention center downtown Brooklyn. That jail was sending people to Rikers Island when they were supposed to be taking people off Rikers Island. They were sneaking people there in the middle of the night. Y'all didn't know that. I didn't like that when I heard it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go and support them. Even though I work in philanthropy, I'm my job. Even though I worked in philanthropy, I'm my experience. I'm not my job. So I'm going to step out here on my day off, on my time off, after work, on the time that belongs to motherfucking me, and I'm going to join the people that I'm listening to what they say and feeling what they feel. And guess what? They went out in front of that jail just to tell the people inside the jail that they loved them, that they were loved, that they weren't forgotten. And I will never forget what it felt like when I was in Bayview Correctional Facility, a facility that I thought was so popping, so much better than all the other facilities, until I heard some organizers screaming to shut that jail down. And we was like, shut it down. Now this is the best prison out of the prison. I didn't know half of what I know now. I was a prisoner, conditioned by the prison industrial complex. They condition you. They beat you to a bloody pulp. There are no gangsters. Y'all think y'all gangsters? Do y'all really think y'all gangsters? Oh, because you never did prison time? What you did? Time in a minimal jail? You did time in jail, or you did time in a minimum prison? That don't make you tough, bro. Listen, that's easy stuff. When you start doing 5 years or more, anybody, it's not that I'm just saying that. It's statistically proven, baby. Department of Social Services said that anybody who's done 5 or plus years is emotionally and mentally unstable. They know what they're doing to you. One of my college professors for penology told us, our classmates, criminal justice, he told us, this is not the times of the barbaric, where they cut your hands off in front of a whole crowd because you stole something. No. What they do now is they put you in the criminal justice system that's meant to fry your brain cells, right? They're not supposed to touch you physically because they don't want the public to see that physical abuse. If the public sees that physical abuse, they will be outraged. So instead, they abuse you financially. They absolutely abuse you mentally. Everything about that system is to suppress and abuse you emotionally. That's why a lot of us come out emotionally unstable, and it takes a while for us to get that back. A lot to get that back. I love everybody who has ever been formerly incarcerated. Whether I fuck with you or not, whether you fuck with me or not, I love you. Because we survived some motherfucking shit. And we don't give ourselves enough credit because we're labeled a fucking scumbag of society. And we're the furthest from it, right? Because we're the ones that's cleaning up those jails, that's polishing up those jails, doing all the paintwork, or all the plastering, all the flooring, shining this shit up. For free, and for 10 cents and 15 cents an hour. And we're turning against each other inside of the penitentiary, and we're clearly turning against each other outside of the penitentiary. Because this is how it's designed for us to be against us, to support their system that only cages and traps us. There's a lot more to say. It's just that I don't really know how to talk to people that really don't try to really talk to me back. But I know y'all listening, so I talk anyway. Okay? I have a purpose. I believe in God. I believed in God my whole life. God gave me a purpose. None of this shit is me. I don't want to do this shit. But God said I will use you, and I will let him use me. Because I know what it was like to suffer for 11 years. We don't count days in the penitentiary. We're counting seconds and minutes. Y'all are out here counting hours and days. Just know that every fucking second of that time is different. You do the crime, you do the time. Guess what? My story is not a fucking lonely one, motherfuckers. I'm not out here sitting here just telling my story just to tell my story. My story points to a larger fucking picture that's going on behind the penitentiary. Even the story that I shared with y'all about sexual abuse. I'm out here speaking for women who were sexually abused, people that I had spoken up for and supported in the penitentiary and helped file their grievance. And I also was a grievance clerk. I helped to process over 700 grievances.